guys, come on in. Welcome to the farm. How's everybody doing today? Today we're going to be doing a soup. You remember the saying in the movie, I think it was Field of Dreams, that if you build it, it'll come? Well, today I'm thinking maybe if we build some fall recipes, some fall weather will come, okay? So today we're going to build a soup. It's a creamy chicken pasta spinach soup, and then we're going to make a pumpkin cream cheese filled muffin that are so simple but so delicious and so perfect for this time of the year if we ever get any fall like temperatures, okay? So first thing we're going to do is start going over our ingredients for our soup. So come on over here and we'll show you what we've got. All right, I've kind of done some prepping already to make this video a little bit shorter, but I went ahead and cut up one small onion. This is a small sweet onion. Unfortunately, I don't have any vidalias this time of year, so this is just a small sweet onion. A produce guy gave me a tip one time on an onion, and he told me if they're squattier, they're sweeter. If they're elongated, then they're stronger. So when you go look for your onions this time of year, even your sweet onions, look for the squatty short onion versus the long onion. Maybe an old wives' tale, but I have found it to be true, okay? Second, I have taken 4 stalks of celery, and I have diced them, and everything's just a rough dice because it's all going to go in the soup and get softened. Then we're going to need about 8 ounces of carrots. You can use your regular carrots, and if you do, just go ahead and peel them with your vegetable peeler and slice them. Today, to make our recipe just a little bit more simple, I've chosen a crinkle cut carrot. So we're going to use about half a bag of this. Our recipe calls for an 8-ounce bar of cream cheese that's softened, a rotisserie chicken that is already off the bone. This one came from Publix, and I'm not dissing Publix by any means, but Publix to me has the smaller chickens. Walmart or Harvey's tends to have the bigger chickens, and they taste just as good, and they're about a third of the price than Publix. But anyway, then we're going to use a couple of handfuls of a spinach. I use a baby spinach. If you use the regular leaf spinach, you may want to pinch it up just a little bit, and you may want to take some of the stems off. With this baby spinach, the stems are so small that it really doesn't make that big of a difference. And then you're going to need a chicken base or a chicken broth. Now, if you've chosen not to do a rotisserie chicken, but to boil your own chicken, of course, you'll have the broth left over. Or you can buy chicken broth. Well, y'all that have been following me for a while know that this is my go-to. This is my go-to for vegetables. This is my go-to for any kind of soup base, a chicken soup base. They make beef soup base as well, but this is my chicken soup base. And like I said, I use it in all my vegetables. I use it in all my greens. I use it in pretty much anything that I need a little bit of chicken flavor. I get this at a Oriental market in Atlanta. One of my favorite pastimes is visiting unusual grocery stores or gourmet grocery stores. So if you're ever in Atlanta on the Buford Highway, go up and down the Buford Highway, and there are several Oriental international farmers markets that are just full of all kind of goodies. Just take the day and explore. But this is one of mine and my mom's finds, and I buy it in these big tubs, and it'll last me 3 or 4 months, and each tub costs about $8. So as far as your chicken broth, you can use this. You can use a regular chicken bouillon that you can find around here. You can use chicken broth. You can use chicken stock. Or like I said, if you prefer not to do a rotisserie chicken but make your own chicken, then you can use the broth from where you've cooked your chicken off. All right, we're going to use our handy dandy minced garlic. I use this like crazy. This is heavy whipped cream. It's 1 8-ounce container of a heavy whipped cream. Then we're going to use a 2-cup bag of a mild cheddar. And then we're going to top our soups off once it's done individually with a sprinkle of a little bit of Parmesan cheese. All right, so come on over here and we're going to get started. I cook most all my soups in a Dutch oven. You can tell this is well used because it's stained. It's not dirty. It is well used, well loved. So first we're going to start by turning on our oven. I love cooking with gas. Most of my adult life I've had an electric stove, but since we moved out here to the farm, we've had gas, so I've had to learn how to cook with it, and I love it. So I'm just going to take a couple of tablespoons of a good olive oil, and I'm going to let that get hot in our pan, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sear off our vegetables. We're going to take our onions, our carrots, our garlic, and we're going to take it all and we're going to saute it up just as soon as our oil gets a little bit hot. I'm going to give that a few minutes. So onions, carrots, and garlic, and celery. That's your first few ingredients that you're going to put into your soup. And once you get it in there, you'll let your vegetables saute until they're soft, and that takes about 5 minutes. And you can just kind of put your hand over your pot toward the base of it, and you can tell if your oil's starting to get hot, and it kind of starts to get a little wavy too. So we're almost there. I'm going to go ahead and move my vegetables over here, and we're just going to add them in. And I am a cook. I am by no means a chef, so if my cooking techniques offend you or if my chopping techniques offend you, then you're watching the wrong person. Okay? I am a home cook. But who better to cook for your family than a home cook, right? Alright, so we're going to get all of our goodies in there. And to me, there's nothing that smells better than onions, carrots, celery, and garlic sauteing off. I don't know about y'all, but that is a smell that I just absolutely love. And I use it in a lot of my soups. And it is the base for a lot of soup recipes as well. Alright, so remember I told you we're going to use these carrots that are already cut up. So we're going to use just about half a bag. And honestly, when everybody's like, I want the recipe, I eyeball a lot of things. So a lot of times it's really hard for me to tell you a definite recipe. But the more you get in the kitchen and cook, the more you'll start just kind of eyeballing your own stuff too. This is the minced garlic, and we're just going to put a couple of big squirts in there. Now, if you like garlic flavor like we do, put more. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to put it in there at all. Or you can put less. Alright, so we're going to get you over here so you can see how beautiful this is all coming together. And this will saute off for about 5 minutes until the vegetables are soft and tender. So we'll see you back in about 5 minutes. Welcome back. We have sauteed our vegetables for about 5 minutes. They got nice and soft, and then we have added our rotisserie chicken in here. And we're on the countdown. We are about 1.5 minutes into it. You'll add your chicken and saute that around with the vegetables for about another 3 minutes. So a little over 1 minute, and we will have that done. Don't y'all just love soups this time of year? I always start eating soups around this time of the year. That way I can kind of like wish fall to hurry up and be here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. We actually are going to be going to the mountains next weekend with my family. So I'm hoping to get some cool weather, and I'm hoping to get some fall leaves. That's my big goal. And we're actually doing family photos. It's going to be me and my sisters and their spouses, and my brother and his spouse, and my mom and my stepdad. We're going up around Townsend, Tennessee, around Cades Cove area. I've rented a house up there for us, and we're going to try to do a show from up there as well, so stay tuned for that. But fall is probably my most favorite time of the year. I love being outside and working when the weather gets a little cool. I love it when it first starts getting a nip in the air. Unfortunately, down here in South Georgia, we don't get that too much. And until we get that, we have gnats. So those of you that are watching this video from above the gnat line, congratulations to you. You don't have to deal with them, and we do. But with the first little nip of cold air, the gnats tend to go away. Alright, that is our timer for our chicken to be done. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our 8 ounces of cream cheese. And like I said, this is softened. And we're going to add our 8 ounces of a heavy whipping cream. Now, if you want to lighten this up a little bit, say that you're on a diet or that you're just kind of watching your intake, you can use all of this in a low-fat version. I'm getting that everywhere. That is running off my spoon. But you can do a low-fat cream cheese, and you can do a skim milk. Now, will it be as rich as this is? No. Will it taste as good as this does? No. It won't taste quite as good as this does because it's not as rich. But, you know, that's just something that you're going to have to think about yourself. Is it worth the calories? Is it worth all this extra fat? But to me, it is, because we don't eat it that often. And then it is to me because it's just comfort food. It's just a comfort food. And when it's a comfort food, I try not to skimp on it. So anyway, we'll go ahead and take a picture of this real quick. And this is our chicken stock and our cream cheese and our heavy whipping cream all added into it. And I used about 6 cups of chicken broth or chicken stock or chicken base is what I use. Now, as this cooks down, if it gets too thick for you, once that cream cheese gets in there and melts, then the only thing you have to do is add a little bit more chicken broth. If you like a thicker chowder type soup, then use less broth. Cut it down to about 4 cups. But we're going to let this sit here and we're going to let it simmer for at least about 15 minutes and get all the ingredients together so the flavors can meld together. And it won't be long. We're going to have some delicious soup, okay? So we'll see you back in about 15 minutes. All right, welcome back. Come on over here real quick and you can see how the soup has started to thicken up some. We've had it at a pretty good roll and boil, so make sure you keep it stirred so that it don't scorch. But see how it's already thickened up? So by the time I get everything else added in, I may actually have to add some more broth in there. All right, so now we're going to add our pasta. This is the pasta that we're going to be using. You can use any kind of a small pasta. Mary Claire just happened to pick this out, and we're going to use about half a box. So we're going to do about half the box in there. And this is just a rolled pasta, but it is a small one. And then we're going to put our 2 cups of cheese. And it doesn't matter if this is fine shredded or a coarse shredded cheese because it's all going to melt. We're going to stir this up really, really good. And then we're just going to lower the heat on this and we're going to cook it until your pasta is done. Now, some people like their pasta a little al dente. Some people like their pasta cooked really good. Chris and I are probably a really good type. You really don't like a crunch in it at all. So I've got it turned down on medium. We're going to go ahead and just turn it on down to low and close our lid. And then just let it set until the pasta's done. Take another 15 minutes or so. So when we come back in about 15 minutes, we'll have our soup done. And then we're going to start working on our pumpkin muffins. And these are super, super, super easy pumpkin muffins made with a cake mix. Because those of you that have followed me before know I like to do things that are easy. I like to do things that are quick so I can get in and out of the kitchen but still have plenty of time to do other stuff here on the farm. So see you back in a minute with our soup done and we'll start our pumpkins. Hey, welcome back. All right, our soup has been cooking off. It's not quite ready, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what it's looking like. You can look into here and see how thick it's gotten. The carrots are still a little bit crunchy and the pasta is still a little bit crunchy, but make sure that when you're stirring that you're scraping the bottom of your bowl. This will scorch. Any creamy based soup that has a that amount of cheese specifically in it will scorch. So as you're letting it simmer, be sure that you're scraping the bottom of that bowl, and I use my wooden scraping spoon. So we're going to let this continue to cook off a little bit, and next we're going to go and start doing the pumpkin cream cheese filled muffins. All right, this is the simplest recipe ever, I promise you. 2 ingredients for the muffins, and then you make your cream cheese mixture for your filling. What I've done here is I've literally taken 1 8-ounce bar of cream cheese and I've softened it, and I've mixed about a half a cup of powdered sugar with it. You can do less if you don't want it quite so sweet to cut the sweetness of the muffins, or you can do more if you like it super sweet. So literally 8 ounces of cream cheese, your confectioner's sugar to taste. All right. Second, we're going to take a spice cake mix. Now you can do this with a yellow cake mix and you can add your pumpkin pie spices, but the easiest way truly is just one-stop shop with your spice cake mix. Take it and take 1 small can of pumpkin puree. Do not add pumpkin pie filling. Make sure that it's pumpkin puree. And this is actually a 15-ounce can. So we're going to put it in with our cake mix, and we're just going to give it a real quick stir. To make this go a little bit faster, you can bring out your mixer, but I tried to do a lot of things by hand. I use my hands. God gave me 2 hands, and they're the best tools ever. So we're literally just going to mix all of this together. And your pumpkin actually makes it moist. It moistens up the cake mix. I have seen these recipes where they call for a little bit of water, and if your mix is too stiff, then you may have to put some water in there. And I have seen these where they do put some eggs in there. I don't put eggs in mine, but I have seen recipes where they do add a couple of eggs, and that will make a more cake-like muffin. I've got my oven heating over there to 350, so you may hear it go off in just a minute. And this doesn't have to be a super smooth mixture, because it's going to bake off just fine if it's not. But I do want to scrape down the sides and get it all mixed up really good. Gonna work out on my arms today. Alright, there's my timer for my oven. Like I said, it's set on 350. Now that's pretty much the consistency. It's a thick batter, and that's fine. That's plenty moist enough. Alright, give me just a second. I'm going to stir my soup again, because like I told you, I don't want it to scorch. And all we're waiting on now is the pasta to get soft. So it's cooking along just fine. The only thing left to do in here will be to add your spinach and let it wilt, and then top it with your Parmesan cheese at the end once it's in your bowls. So we're going to let that finish up. Alright, here we go. I have taken my muffin tin and I went ahead and sprayed it with some cooking spray. And we're literally just going to take it and we're going to use our hands. So this does get a little bit messy, and fill these just a little bit full on the bottom. Just a good dollop to fill the bottom. These are actually very good. I've done these several different ways. I've done them like this, and I've done them where I just cook the muffin and then I used a piping filling tip. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but it's literally a cake piping tip that is elongated. It's about that long, and you can actually, once they're done, you can pipe your filling in. So you can cook your filling in, or you can pipe your filling in. Today we're going to cook our filling in. A little bit more in that one. So we're going to fill all of these up. Then, once we get all of our muffin tins full, we're going to go back and add a dollop of cream cheese right to the center. How good is that going to be? Or, if you have kids that want something that looks more like a cupcake, you can actually bake these off, which is what I gave Mary Claire the stuff to do. You can bake these off and then frost them. Pardon my hands, but this is the frosting that is really good on top of them. So once you get them baked off, then put your cream cheese, and then they cool, put your cream cheese on. All right, so we're just going to go back with just a little dollop of our cream cheese mixture right in the center. How good is this going to be? Nice and sweet. Alright, we're going to go to a real quick break, and while we do, I'm going to finish filling these all up, and then I'm going to come back with a knife and kind of spread them around a little bit so that they fill in the wells of the tins really good. And then we're going to coat them with a little bit more of the pumpkin filling. We have finished our muffins. We have taken a little bit of our pumpkin mixture and put on the top and kind of swirled it in to smooth the tops off. These will go in the oven at a 350-degree oven, and they'll cook for about 22 to 24 minutes, depending on your oven. So we're going to go ahead and set ours for 22 minutes, and then we will just keep an eye on it. And they are done when your toothpick comes out clean. I don't know how many of your mom and your grandmoms have told you that, but that's a true and tried method of telling when things are getting to be done. Is when your toothpick inserted into any kind of cake batter comes out clean. All right, come on over here real quick and we're going to show you. See how beautiful that is coming along. So we're going to set this down real quick. Then we're going to take our spinach and we are going to add just a couple of handfuls of this baby spinach. If you are a fanatical about washing your salad and wash your spinach, wash it by all means. I'm not, okay? But we're going to add a couple of big handfuls of spinach. And I know that seems like a lot, but it will wilt down, okay? We're going to stir this in and let that wilt down. And then when we come back, we're going to have our creamy chicken pasta spinach soup. We're going to have some yummy cream cheese filled pumpkin muffins. That sounds like fall to me. Now just Mother Nature cooperate. Bring us some of that cool weather. See how this is already wilting down? Can you see in there and see the spinach? It's all wilted down. So we're just going to continue to let that cook off. And we'll come back in just a little bit when our muffins are done. So we'll see you in about 20 minutes. All right, welcome back. Our timer has went off at 22 minutes. So we're going to check our muffins real quick and see how they are looking. We're going to insert our toothpick and it comes out clean, so they are ready. So we're going to take these out and we're going to let them cool for a little bit in this pan. That is a beautiful rustic fall muffin. Stop that. Put it back in. All right, now let's check our soup, see how it's doing. That put down. We tasted it a few minutes ago and it needs a little bit of salt and pepper, but look how thick and how yummy. How hearty does that look? So we're going to add a little bit of salt and we're going to add a little bit of pepper. Mr. Pope is a pepper fan. I am not so much, but when you're married to one, you have to kind of compromise. This is a pepper grinder, by the way. I don't know if y'all have tried the difference between a fresh ground pepper and just what you get, the ground pepper already in the container, but the fresh ground pepper like this tastes so much better. And it's so readily available. You can get one for a couple of dollars at Big Lots, at TJ Maxx, and they last a really, really long time. All right, so we have got it all salted up, all peppered up. It smells wonderful. It looks divine. It's so thick and hearty. Now, those of you who have followed me for a while know that nothing does me better. Nothing makes me happier than a beautiful plate. So here we go. We've got our beautiful ruffled bowls that we're going to be dipping up mine and Mr. Pope's soup into. Dip it up, put it on our bowl, and put it on our plate. How yummy does that look? That's almost like a stew. That's not even a soup. That is a stew, a hearty stew. But if you want it less like a chowder or a stew and more like a soup, only thing you've got to do is add more chicken broth or chicken base, okay? All right, we're going to serve it on our little plates with our beautiful napkin. I like linen napkins, but for everyday meal, I think a paper napkin is fine. I found these at Dollar General. Typically, depending on the soup, if it's a brothy soup, I do like cornbread, but if it's a thick chowder type soup, I like a cracker. So we're going to be having these. These are actually a mini, and I have never seen these until the other day. But they come in a bag just like a small cracker. We're going to take these. We're going to put some on the side of our plate. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to top off our soup with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. It doesn't take a lot because this is an aged Parmesan cheese, so it's real strong. And there is our supper. So we are done with supper for the evening. Now I was going to also talk to you a little bit about fall decorating. I love to decorate. It's one of my true passions. I am decent at it. I don't know that I'm good at it, but I'm decent at it. And I love to decorate our farmhouse. This farmhouse is Chris's family's farmhouse. It was his grandparents' house. It was passed down to his father. And once his father passed away, we moved in. And so it just keeps my heart warm knowing that I can provide Chris with a beautiful, cozy, warm home. So I was going to take a few minutes and just show you some of the fall arrangements that I have sitting around my kitchen. This right here is one of the most simple arrangements, but I thought that was so pretty. I literally took some small, real pumpkins that had beautiful stems on them and put them on a wooden cake plate. You can put them on a glass cake plate if you don't have a wooden one, but I think I got this one at Hobby Lobby for next to nothing, along with a little silver rooster. Then my best friend Lynn and her daughter and I love to go to estate sales, so we went to the estate sale in Sylvester this past week, and I got this cast iron pot for next to nothing. I think it was like 20 bucks or something. Throw a fresh mum in it, and how pretty is that arrangement? And then this, we also picked up at an estate sale. It's just a little wire basket. I think they also have these at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes you can find them at TJ Maxx, but I literally just took an assortment of fresh gourds and fresh pumpkins and arranged them just haphazardly in there. And that makes for a beautiful arrangement. And this will last well through Thanksgiving, even past Thanksgiving. I've actually kept some of these and wintered them over and dried them and used them for the next year. So that's also an option. So, and then this right here, we got this at a vintage picking fair for just a few bucks. It's actually a big cast iron urn, and I literally took one of my wreaths that I had in my living room, a little dried boxwood wreath, laid it on top of it, and topped it with a little pumpkin. How cute is that? If y'all hear all the noise in the background, that is a crop duster. We do live on a true, actual working farm. But anyway, thanks for visiting with us today on the farm. We've got to go take care of a sick sheep now. He's a little under the weather. Like I said, it's a real working farm, and we hope to see y'all back soon. Y'all have a blessed day.